Hello, it's good to have you with us at this hour. I'm Daniel Che. A day before North Korea's anniversary of the founding of its Workers' Party, new analysis shows increased activity at one of its satellite launch sites. South Korea is, of course, closely monitoring the situation for more signs of another nuke test or missile launch. Devin Whiting starts us off.
Analysts have spotted suspicious movements at North Korea's Sohae satellite launching station on its west coast. According to U.S.-based North Korea monitoring group 38 North, satellite images taken on October 1st show activity at the launch pad and rocket engine test area, with vehicles moving near the fuel and oxidizer buildings. Due to covers put over key structures, however, the report says it's hard to tell whether a test is imminent. In recent days, activity has been detected at other sites in the north, too. The Dongchangni rocket launch site in the country's northwest, as well as possible preparations for another nuclear test at the Punggye-ri test site. The presidential office of Cheongwadae has called it an emergency situation and sees North Korea's nuclear threat as the biggest national challenge, according to an official at the nation's top office. The official told Seoul-based Yonhap news agency Sunday that a provocation by North Korea could come at any time. President Park Geun-hye, the official said, has been watching for any signs at the North's nuclear and missile sites over the weekend and is being briefed on the international community's reactions to North Korea-related issues. Concerns have grown, especially amid a rise in the frequency and intensity of the North's provocations. 10 years ago, on October 9th, North Korea conducted its first nuclear test, which was widely seen as a failure. Its most recent and successful fourth and fifth nuclear tests this year showed Pyongyang's nuclear capabilities have grown significantly. Devin Whiting, Arirang News.
While stronger sanctions on North Korea are under discussion at the UN headquarters in New York, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations is currently on a rare visit to South Korea. Consul shares with us Samantha Power's own message regarding Pyongyang's continuous threats.
Meeting with reporters Sunday, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Samantha Power, said Washington is willing to use all possible means to put pressure on North Korea. The comments came during her 4-day trip to South Korea, a rare occasion for a serving American UN envoy. The visit itself is expected to send a strong message to the North Korean regime and its continuous provocations in the form of nuclear and missile tests.
While Security Council resolutions are one tool in our toolbox and a very important instrument of pressure, we are committed to using all the tools in our toolkit to address this serious threat, including the diplomatic pressure that we are mobilizing around the world to convince other nations to isolate the regime.
Power said she wanted to directly consult with Washington's allies and vowed that the U.S. is determined to stand by South Korea's side in addressing the serious threat. Before arriving in South Korea Saturday, she also made a trip to Japan. Earlier on Sunday, the ambassador visited the truce village of Panmunjom on the inter-Korean border, as well as the Hanawan Settlement Support Center for North Korean refugees. She also held talks with South Korea's Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-an. Hwang delivered a message to Power from President Park Geun-hye asking for continuous efforts on the UN level to deal with the regime's threats. Power is expected to hold further meetings on Monday with high-ranking officials such as South Korea's Foreign Minister Yoon Byung-se and Unification Minister Hong Yong-pyo before departing for the U.S. on Tuesday. Kwon-soa, Arirang News.
October 9th marks the creation of the Korean alphabet Hangul. Koreans celebrated the 570th birthday of the globally praised product of King Sejong in a variety of ways. Our Kim Ha-sung takes us to some of these events.
More than 3,000 people, including government officials, academics, and students, gathered in central Seoul to celebrate the 570th anniversary of the creation of the Korean alphabet, Hangul. 10 Merit and Service Awards were given to those who contributed to the continuous development of Hangul, after which Prime Minister Hwang Kyo-an gave a congratulatory address. The participants enjoyed a variety of performances and sang along to the Song of Hangul Day while waving the Korean national flag. Hangul was invented by King Sejong the Great in the 15th century and is known as one of the most scientific and efficient alphabets in the world. With 14 consonants and 10 vowels, Hangul is easy to read and write. In 1997, it was inscribed on the UNESCO Memory of the World Heritage List for its uniqueness. And some tried it for themselves the traditional way, using a brush, ink, and paper to write Korean poems under the theme, Light the World with Hangul.
I'm coming here with my wife to meet friends and to take a trip to Korea. The Korean alphabet, I think it's the most interesting alphabet because it's made by a king and by scientists, and it's the only language alphabet with philosophic and anatomic background.
I've studied calligraphy for 9 months now. It's really nice to come here and write Hangul in front of King Sejong's statue.
And to help children understand the history of Hangul, many Korean families enjoyed a range of outdoor events in the capital, including this one held by the National Hangul Museum. Kids used Hangul letters to make their own works of art and even created their own version of the Hangul manuscript, Hunmin Jeongum, the book written by King Sejong the Great that explains the principles and purpose of Hangul.
I came here with my mom and made my own Hangul manuscript. It's really fun.
On Hangul Day, people got a chance to reflect on the significance of the Korean alphabet, and some, like these kids, made wishes to write and use Hangul well. Kim Hae-sung, Arirang News.
Switching to a very different story now, the latest incident involving illegal fishing in Korean waters by Chinese boats prompted the Korean government to summon a senior Beijing envoy. The Incheon Coast Guard summoned China's Deputy Consul General earlier on Sunday, while the Foreign Ministry in Seoul summoned Beijing's Consul General later in that day. The violent clash occurred around 3 p.m. Friday local time in waters 76 kilometers southwest of Incheon's Socheong Island. A Korean Coast Guard boat approaching a Chinese vessel illegally fishing in the area was rear-ended by another Chinese boat, causing it to capsize. Dozens of other Chinese boats joined the fray, and the Coast Guard officers fired their weapons in response. There were no injuries or casualties. The attacking Chinese boat has been placed on the wanted list by the Coast Guards of both nations. China responded by expressing regret and vowing stronger efforts to prevent recurrences. Korea's top central banker has expressed confidence in the nation's fiscal soundness, but at the same time highlighted the need for a more careful approach in terms of future monetary policies. BOK Chief Lee Ju-yeol met with reporters while in Washington for the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors meetings and shared his thoughts on pending economic issues. In terms of fiscal policies, he pointed out the need to devise new measures, especially with current options being limited and considering the various risk factors involved. While Lee said he firmly believes 2.7% growth this year is a likely scenario for Korea, he also highlighted the importance of devising long-term measures to counter the side effects of low birth rates and a rapidly aging society. Also, before this interview, Korea's central bank did not rule out the possibility of the country's foreign reserves decreasing toward the year's end when global markets expect an interest rate hike by the U.S. Fed. It's round two for U.S. presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Their second televised debate takes place in St. Louis, Missouri. The former Secretary of State is generally viewed as the victor of their maiden TV face-off 2 weeks ago. The ever-controversial Republican nominee is trailing his Democratic rival in the polls. He'll want to make the most of Sunday's debate to get his campaign back on track. The former reality show star has also come under pressure from some members of his party to step down from the presidential ticket after a video showing him making crude comments about women and claiming license as a celebrity to mistreat them surfaced. Trump apologized for those remarks, but ruled out the idea of quitting the race, saying he's in it to the end 100% and won't let down his supporters. Sunday marks 13 straight days of demonstrations by the nation's unionized rail workers. According to Korea Railroad or Korail, trains are running at 94.2% the normal level. High-speed KTX and commuter trains are operating at full capacity, but the number of freight trains will be drastically reduced from 85% operational level come Monday for a number of reasons. For one, significantly fewer trains are needed for freight services over the weekend, and Korean Cargo Transport Workers Union will begin their walkout at the start of the week. They're demanding the government scrap its reform plan, which would result in more trucks for big companies, dealing a blow to small cargo truck operators. The strikes by the two unions are expected to cause logistics turmoil nationwide. A special weekend festival was held in Seoul's Seocho-gu district, which is where Arirang Tower, the building for the station you're watching, is located. The event was packed with a variety of exciting activities and performances, including a fireworks display which could be heard and seen right outside our window. Oh Jung-hee lets us sample the Seoripul Festival.
The Seoripul Festival, held in southern Seoul, drew thousands of Seoul residents out into the streets, filling their weekend with joy and excitement. All kinds of activities and performances were on offer for families and friends of all ages.
The 900-meter-long street became a huge sketchbook where kids sat down with colored chalks to draw pictures on the asphalt.
These budding artists turned their stretch of road into a mural of words, shapes, and squiggles.
We found people drawing pictures on the ground by chance and thought it was very interesting, so we decided to participate. This is going to be a special memory for us three.
I drew a bear and a school. It's really fun.
Two of the main draws were the music and the magic shows. The kids were also excited to have their pictures taken with their favorite characters. To celebrate Hangul Day, a parade marched by featuring King Sejong, followed by flags showing the alphabet he invented and the flags of the world.
We will strive to make this festival a global one with the various programs we have for multicultural families and foreigners living in Seocho-gu.
As part of the Seoripul Festival, last weekend saw the Korea-France Music Festival held in Seoremal Village, Korea's French neighborhood, to celebrate 130 years of ties between Korea and France. Visitors from both countries enjoyed performances by artists from their nations, including the French rock group Les Innocents' very first performance in Korea. Oh Jung-hee, Arirang News.
And now the weather. The first frost and ice of this autumn has been witnessed at the peak of Seoraksan Mountain in Gangwon-do Province. The mercury dipped 2.3 below zero at 9 a.m. Sunday local time. It happened a little late compared to last year, 7 days to be exact. Seoul starts at 7 degrees Celsius, Busan 13, Jeju 15, a little warmer later in the day, 19 in the capital on Monday, 21 in the port city, and the southernmost island as well. And now let's check out the weather conditions in your neck of the woods and around the world. That's it from us. Thank you for watching. Here's wishing you a smooth transition to a new work week.